like to be a female screamer. I would lie if I said that it was the same thing as being a male screamer, even though I wish it was. Because, you know, when you're a female in the music industry, there are ways, more ways actually to that the industry wants to advertise you. So obviously get more attention. But I keep saying that the best way to get the right attention is to work. So, and I'd say that paradoxically, being a female screamer, but also clean singer, you kind of feel the need to work more to like justify your success by not just being cute or whatever, and just showing that you have the right to be here and you deserve your place within the industry. So yeah, it has like good and bad sides. I just wish that someday it's just like being a male singer in the industry. But that's just my own point of view.
So what got you into this type of music?
I was a teenager, and I just very randomly I had this crush who barely knew I existed. He just was listening to metal and rock music in general. And at one point, I just listened to one song that I knew he liked, because I guess I just wanted to, like, you know, have a common topic of conversation with him or something. And it turned out to be Blinded in Chains by Avenged Sevenfold. So it's a great American band. And I just loved it, and I did not expect that. So that's how I got into it. I was 13.
So that being said, like, how do you practice your vocals, or do you do like vocal exercises, vocal workouts to increase like the different pitch and tones?
Yeah, I pretty much try to, like, every day I squeeze in like at least 10-15 minutes of like warm up and like singing if I can. And also, even if I don't even warm up, I try on busy days to just place my voice the right way when I'm talking. And yeah, it's the whole like active slash passive training. So like a bit of it every day.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And then from that, how did you, is all your bandmates, you knew them for like a while, or did you have to go and scout them out to make sure you got the right fit for your vision?
So I was in an internship. So I have two bands. I have Abcan and I have Sleeping Romance. And for Abcan, what happened is that I joined them after they were already formed, and they were like childhood friends who were doing music for a while. But they were just like playing for themselves, you know. They did not have any like ambition of recording albums and music videos and stuff. But when I arrived, because I saw their ads through a website, because I was looking to join a band that already existed, I did not know enough people, enough musicians at the time to form my own band. So I joined them after I saw their ad, and you know, it just from there it kind of took off very naturally, that we started to think about producing an album by ourselves, without even needing a label. And yeah, this is how we're here now. With Sleeping Romance, it was different. They were already supported by a whole team, and they just got separated from their singer because she had another project and she wanted to focus on it. So they posted about auditioning for a new singer, and I just put my name in the hat. And yeah, I got chosen like that. So this is how I got into two bands.
That must be a lot of work and a lot of practicing, like vocal wise, especially when you're doing multiple shows or a week, and they range in different tones. As you mentioned, one's metal, one isn't, in a sense. So really straining the vocal cords must be tiring, or just a lot of exercises on that.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to be careful when it comes to the voice. It's literally your body that is the instrument. So you have to be careful about like what you eat, how you sleep, sports, etc. And yeah, it is definitely challenging. being in two bands to also like navigate between the styles, because Sleeping Romance is kind of metal but also more modern and almost like Billie Eilish like sometimes. So we have this like electro add to it, touch to it. Whereas yeah, for Abcan there's more scream and there's more like heavy metal style. So yeah, it has different registries in it that I have to navigate through, and that's also the fun of it, you know. But yeah, you have to be careful about the way you treat your voice.
Well, that's good though. I didn't really think about that of the what you mentioned in regards to stuff that you eat that affects your range. Now that I think about it, like you don't want to eat something that I guess like heavy before like your performance, because that'll affect that as well. Like I do play trumpet. Well, I did play trumpet, played it for
Oh,
about
cool.
15 years. So playing it for that long, I realized that when I was going to perform or anytime I played it, certain foods I'll just cut back away from it, less acidic foods, and just nothing like burgers and such, like really eating clean just to get the vocal cords and the lungs going out as well, and doing a lot of cardio just to build up that lung capacity as well. It does help.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to eat anything that is too fat or too acid as well, too sour. So like you basically like drink water, you'll be fine.
Exactly.
No, but like you got to stay hydrated, of course. But yeah, you also can't eat something that will make your body work too hard, because yeah, you're singing with your whole body. So you got to be careful about that. But yeah, it's not top of mind precaution when you think about singing, but actually it is very important. It just doesn't pop up first when you think about what you should do to get better at singing.
Exactly. Which is kind of cool. Other thing that I've thought about as well. Where do you envision both your bands to be, or in the future wise?
Oh, hopefully as high as possible, you know, but one can dream. No, I'm kidding. I mean, yeah, I think that with Abcan, it's always been the plan to be like a side project, but not a, I mean, I don't want it to be like a leftover or anything. On the contrary, I need this style to thrive because I love screaming and I love saturated vocal just as much as I like clean vocals. So I would say that for Abcan, the ambition is not to go like international anytime soon. Just like to get bigger in the next 5 years, at least in France and maybe like French speaking countries, even though I don't sing in French, you know, but we have our like little fan base here and it's great like that. So maybe just keep it around France and Belgium, Switzerland, something like that. And for Sleeping Romance, in hopefully 5 years time, we'll have released yet another album. So we're hoping to maybe like take it to the US, because we have a pretty good audience in the US. So why not go overseas, you know? So that would be the dream.
With Abcan and being like the front, as we mentioned earlier, you ever get like, I guess, females that see you like, wow, that's kind of cool. Like, how do you do it? Like, do you get those comments when you go to shows, or like, hey, like I would love to join it, or they inquire about how to get into the industry?
Yeah, like a lot of people obviously are curious about how you make it in, and I want to say that the key is obviously work hard, but also get out of your home, your comforts, and go meet new people, because that's how you make good connections. And you could be as good as you want. If you're not curious, if you don't go to meet other people, other bands when they're on stage, because they can inspire you, they can show you great things you didn't think about. It's always good if you can speak to these people also to pay them your respects, and yeah, to show that you appreciate the hard work that they do. And also this is how you build relationships that might help you later. So when people ask me, this is what I say that I just try to like meet a lot of people, to like to meet these people that inspire me so much, to see what they do, and to work every day on my vocal skills as well, because it's very, very important. And when it comes to girls, I don't get that many questions from girls, weirdly, but I think weirdly and not so weirdly, because I feel like as females, we're grown to be like, we're kind of taught to be competitive with each other, which I deplore, really. I think it's stupid. And if I ever have a daughter, I will definitely tell her to like be supportive towards other girls and, to lift each other up. But this is the way it is. Unfortunately, today, a lot of girls don't dare to ask you for like not help, but just advice, because it kind of places them, they feel like it places them underneath you. So, yeah, I never got questions for girls. I just feel like we like to just figure things out on our own or ask guys, but guys will ask me, guys are not so shy with it. They're like, oh wow, how did you manage to get this show, or how do you know this person, how come this person talks about you, and they want to know like how I did it. And of course it's flattering, but it's also no big deal, dude, just ask. I was also asking at some point, I'm still asking, I'm small, like still no one really like knows me, I'm not a star or anything. So we should all just help each other, but girls are taught not to ask other girls for help, unfortunately.
Oh, I didn't really think about that, honestly. I thought you had like just the industry itself, especially it being in a metal band, really, and in the whole screaming industry or metal, heavy metal. I'm not sure the right topic or
both
the right.
Are correct. Both are
okay,
correct.
Excellent. And then just I think like seeing like someone, if like Evanescence,
Yeah.
someone like that, and I would think that there was somewhat of a fan base of females out there that says, hey, guess what? I've always loved to do it, always find it interesting. Let me go up there and start asking questions and inquire about it. But from what I'm hearing from you, it's opposite.
I mean, I think that when you go even more, like even bigger, you talked about Evanescence and Amy Lee, so their singer. I know that she is big into like encouraging other girls and everything. And I think that in this area, yes, there's definitely like a mutual help going on. I know that she's very close with Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. Because Lizzie is a friend. She happens to be a person that actually inspired me a lot and helped me, and we hung out a lot. So I got to see a lot of her like ways and how she is so how she is what she is as well. So I know that within this superior sphere there is definitely help going on, but I think that when you're in on my stage and you're like starting to take off slowly, it's harder to, you still feel like you have to make it on your own before asking for help. I think I'm never shy in asking for help. I love that. But I understand that culturally speaking and education speaking, girls tend to not like to ask other girls for help. We just rather like make it better than the other, and it sucks.
Yeah. With that being said as well, do you have a certain style? Because I look at it as in, is there even a style with it? And if so, is it hard to show a difference between you and, let's say, Amy Lee or someone else that's in that same industry?
Yeah, there's definitely a way to differentiate my bands, for example, from Amy Lee, just like there's a way to differentiate my two bands between each other, actually. So they have been modernizing their sound when it comes to Evanescence. So just to take this one as an example, you also have to know that bands are evolving and they're trying to like have a new sound from an album to the other. So the Evanescence that we knew 15 years ago is not the same that's the one that you have now,
That's true.
But yeah, but I'd say that it's funny that you talk about Evanescence, because the Sleeping Romance's new style would kind of be the same as the new Evanescence, like a few like modern sounds, but also with a kind of melancholic vibe to it, aggressive, but also very sweet and soft. So yeah, I'd say that these two are very similar, in fact. But then, you can differentiate with other bands like Hailstorm, for example. It's more hard rock. Upcan is more heavy metal, like you could hear older bands like Metallica or Iron Maiden. So yeah, it's pretty easy to differentiate it at this point.
So I guess from what you mentioned, like Iron Maiden's fantastic. I love their music. Do you actually get like inspiration from their songs and trying to use some of their techniques on when you're doing your screaming like sessions or like when you're playing?
Me personally, no, but I know that the musicians, when they write songs, they like to have like touches of Iron Maiden, for example. They don't like to take whole bits, but they like to have like this thing where when someone listens, they're like, "Ooh, I know where they took this from." You know, that was fast, but I liked it. So this kind of like spirit behind the instrumentals. But for me, no, because I did not grow up to listening to Iron Maiden and Metallica. I was more into, well, Evanescence, Arch Enemy as well,
Mhm.
in this moment. So my influences are way more modern than that. So, which is the interesting thing actually, because they have these old school influences and I have these very modern influences. So like the mix of them is kind of what makes Apcan interesting.
Mhm. How did your, I guess, your family take it, if they ever heard any of your music yet? Because that could have
Yeah.
shocked them.
Yeah, I mean, they were a bit scared at the beginning because you know how, yeah, I mean, you know how Moroccan families can be sometimes. But I'm lucky that my family is pretty open. Just like they were a bit scared. They were like, "Are you sure the people in there are not drug addicts?" And you know, like the usual cliches about metal.
Mhm.
Don't you start smoking? Don't you start drinking heavily? Don't you start blah blah blah? So they had these apprehensions at first, obviously, but now they're fine. They see that I have my life, you know, well organized, and I'm keeping my shit together. Everything's fine. I don't even like to drink, you know, so because as a vocalist you can't drink too much anyway, so
That's true. That's
it's even
true.
a good thing, you know, if you want to stay off alcohol to be a singer. So so yeah, they were a bit scared at first, but they had to deal with the fact that I was going to do it anyway,
Mhm.
and they might as well just appreciate it and just be, yeah, supportive. So this is what they're doing, and I'm grateful for that. My mom prefers Sleeping Romance because of its more modern tones
Yeah.
and softness. uh, because Abkan, she doesn't like it when I scream. She's like, I feel like you're hurting yourself. I'm like, no, it's actually good for the vocal cords to do that if you do it right. And she's like, yeah, I don't know, just be careful. And I prefer it when you sing the more classy stuff.
Mhm. That's awesome.
She's funny this way.
Oh, so take me, if you don't mind, like a brief in of how our books are you into like booking of the gigs and booking of the shows, or you just really just show up? Because I'm pretty sure that's like sometimes can be a pain to run and find I guess studios or venues to go and look at.
Yes, it definitely can be a pain in the ass. So for AppCan, yes, I do it myself. I mean, we all do it together, obviously, but basically, I'm one of the people that has to find gigs and has to yeah, organize everything and yeah. So I have to do it, and it's honestly, yes, it's a pain, but it's also super fulfilling, to be honest. When you see everything that you organize coming together, and I'm a bit of a control freak, to be honest. So I like knowing from the get-go who's going to be where and what's going to be where and how things are going to be organized. This way I can like monitor and
Mhm.
make sure that nothing goes wrong, and I have a plan B, plan C. And for Sleeping Romance, usually I'm not in charge of this part, but it never hurts if, for example, in France, I can find something, then I will definitely do it. I never had to so far, but it could happen.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess looking at like on that perspective, you stand on the stage, especially when you're going to like a brand new venue. There's a lot of, I'll say, creativity that you have to bring to the table as well. So you have that, well, let me see how the stage is set up. And at the same time, if you are into the whole like smoke and fog thing, have that
Yeah.
set up well, how the audience would look at in your aspect, the lights, curtains, any posters and so on and so forth. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely. But also when you're up there, you don't really see people's faces anymore. They're just a blur. And you
Mhm.
have to be super concentrated on what you're singing and your like timings, and
Mhm.
you have the click in your ears also. So you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't really get to like uh to live the moment 100%, or it means that you really know your songs like by heart and you can just like be in automatic pilot and just enjoy everything. But usually, yeah, with the lights in your face, you just don't really see the people like face by face, one
Mhm.
after the other. But you can after a while, when you know the stress is gone, and when you're like in the middle of the show or towards the end, you start being able to like de-stress and just starting to look at people. You notice those who are actually mouthing the lyrics with you.
Mhm.
And that's great, actually.
Yeah.
By the way, this part is great. But yeah, you have to just, I think you have to be yourself, but also it's a thing that you have to work on as well. It's an entire part of being a singer. It's not only the work you do on your voice, but also as a performer, to learn how to deal with stage fright, if you have any. You have three kinds of people. You have the people that stage fright blocks completely. You have the people that it's powers on entirely. You're like, they thrive on stage fright and it gives them like a huge adrenaline shot. And you have people that, you know, they can manage through it, but they need to work on it.
Mhm.
So I'm a bit of category adrenalized by it, but also slightly have to work on it. So during the first part of the show, I will have to power through it in order to get focused, concentrated. So you have to work on that. And on the second part of the show, I feel like the stage fright is actually what makes me better, and it makes me do things that I would not have been able to do in my at my you know in my studio with no one here to listen. So yeah, that's also a whole work you have to do as a singer.
Yeah. I'm more of a number two person. I'll go in, and as long as like if I'm like center stage,
Yeah,
let me be in center stage and I'll go wild, go crazy.
that's
And that's how I get that.
amazing.
I love the adrenaline feel of it.
Yeah, I
And
hope you
it's
know
just,
you're lucky.
yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people just get like completely paralyzed by it. So if you're category two, that's amazing.
Mhm. Also, what's frustrating? Because I'm pretty sure it's frustrating sometimes you're singing and you know great song and so on and so forth, and then you see in the crowd a cell phone light go off and they're trying to like talk on the phone and you're like, you're missing out, you're missing out.
Uh, yeah, I mean, honestly, I never noticed
Mhm.
really. But I think if I did, I'm the kind, I like to go in the public when I can, when the stage is not like too big.
Mhm.
I mean, I've never been in like huge stages by this point, so who am I kidding? But when the stage is small enough, sometimes I like to go in the public and
Yeah.
interact with people for like mosh pits and stuff. It always works out great. So I would be totally capable. I would see myself if I saw someone doing that, just go in the stage and sing to their face, like, you see me now? I would see myself doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I guess that would be my like extreme reaction.
Mhm.
And if I just saw someone doing that, I mean, I confess it happened to me as well during a show.
Mhm.
Maybe sometimes they're trying to tell their friends where they are. So I just don't assume the worst of this person, and
Mhm.
I'd just probably ignore it. But if I want to
Mhm.
have my fun with it, I would just like go in and be like, yeah, do they want to talk to me? Yes. So if you want, I can show you like the different steps to getting to a vocal fry.
Okay.
And yeah, I can show you, of course, as you asked, the screaming part, so the vocal fry technique, because fry and scream are two different techniques.
Oh,
And you
okay.
have growling as well, and so yeah.
Mhm.
Sure. So the first thing you need to do if you want to learn how to fry your voice is to imagine like you're hesitating on something. So you're doing this throat sound that is. Can you do that?
Uh,
Yes,
oh,
maybe
okay.
less of your voice in it. Really, I shouldn't hear. It's more like. No, you got it. You got it.
It's
Yeah,
just
you
less
got it.
vocal. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly, less vocal. So there's a difference between and
Not the
imagine.
greatest.
Yeah, but I
Mm.
mean, it's fine. It's not supposed to be perfect from the get-go,
Yeah.
so don't worry. So yeah, and now imagine you're kind of like playing with it. So that's where you're gonna, of course, after multiple takes and exercises, you're supposed to go from this to the fry. So it goes like this. This is kind of
Wow.
a slight, very high pitched note, and then you have
Mhm.
like bigger ones that could go, and deeper ones that go like.
Mhm.
And then you could go higher again, like. And you basically play with this sound to get all these colors on it.
Mhm. That is awesome. I got like chills. I was thinking it's sad. No offense. Like I watch a lot of horror movies, and I'm just
Yeah.
like looking around for like some like creepy hand that comes
Oh
out.
yeah,
It's like,
that's what I want to hear. Actually, don't worry. I don't get offended by that. On the contrary, I get a great time trying to imitate Nazgul's from Lord of the Rings. You
yes,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But yet, I just want to emphasize something, because if someone tries this at home, it's
Mhm.
not supposed to be loud. Actually, just like
Mhm.
people think that because it's super loud and everything, it's not supposed to be loud. You just need to make this sound, and with the magic of studio, this is how you hear it, super like with echo and reverb, etc. Sometimes there are layers on the recordings on the studio versions, so don't try to make it sound thicker if it hurts, because it's not the right way. And then when you work on it, it gets more resonant, but it's not supposed to be loud anyway.
And that's what you mentioned, and that what you just did was called fry.
Yes,
Okay, okay,
the part is fry.
okay. So just because I love just playing around with people in a sense. You ever done that and like scared people?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
good, good.
Definitely. I like to have my fun with it. And the one of the very first times I scared someone with it was my grandfather.
Oh yeah.
May he rest in peace. He was in my living room in
Mhm,
Morocco, and I was starting to learn how to fry.
mhm,
And I was in my room trying to like record some stuff. And at
mhm,
some point, it was the first moment where I was recording a cover
mhm,
for a song, and it was the part where I had to scream. And he was there because I think he was like babysitting or something. My parents were out. And after I did like the first take of the scream, he came in and like stormed in my room and looked at me like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying stuff. Don't worry." It was like, "That was you?" I was like, yeah, yeah. But he's like, what were you even doing? I was trying this thing, blah, blah, blah. He was like, yes, please, no, stop. He was like legit low key scared, and he
mhm,
did not want me to do it again. And I
mhm,
told him, don't worry, this is how it's working, etc. And in the end, I think he had to like go further, because he was like literally next to my room, and he had to go watch TV like somewhere else in the place, because he was too scared of it. He kept coming back like once or twice
mhm.
to make sure that I was actually okay, not like choking on my vomit or something. I think this is
Not
what he was.
possessed, nothing like that. You're like, okay.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes in the street as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or in, well, backstage, you saw the TikTok video actually came from the fact that I still scare my bandmates when I do that.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's still noticeable enough that they would film it, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I scare people pretty much every day with that.
I was honestly, if I was able to like perfect that in a sense, I'll just walk around town and just like walk up to people like
Yeah.
right behind them and make those sounds and just be like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, I thought about doing a series for TikTok with that,
Oh,
like
you
just
should.
walking
That'll
to
be
people
awesome.
and be like, "Roar!" and just look at them and like their reaction. But I guess like I'm too not shy is not the word, but like I'm too socially composed for that. I think I'm not able to like make. I hate making people feel weird or uncomfortable anywhere. So like doing that to people that I don't even know, I can't even explain to them the context. I think it would make me feel too bad. So I'm still thinking about that. But for TikTok, I think it'd be funny.
It would be hilarious.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
like
so
you
too.
should like have a mask on and just like walk up to people and just make the sound and just run
Yeah,
away.
they would run away first, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I could scare kids. I could, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh God. I still have to think about it.
Yes, yes, yes. If you do, make sure you tag me or just let me know.
Oh, I definitely will.
So the fry, and then you mentioned there's a scream,
Yes.
and they're, I guess, completely different or similar.
Not so much, it's just the technique. So basically, you know, you have like your chest voice and your head voice when you sing. And the scream is basically this saturated technique, but with your head voice. And the fry is with your chest voice,
Okay.
basically. So it's the
Mhm.
difference between the raw and yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Chest voice is the deeper one, and scream voice is the higher one.
You go from
Uh,
you go from like zombie to like banshee.
yeah, exactly. That's precisely yeah. Or Nazgul, because Nazguls are like
Exactly.
very, very high pitched.
Yeah. See, you'd be perfect for like, as you meant, like the Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all those like awesome movies. You're like, no, no, no. I don't need no sound effect machines. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of
Exactly. Hold my
it.
glass of healthy water. I'll take care of it. I wish. I would
Oh,
love to dub stuff sometimes.
yeah, honestly, I would love to too. I'm a big, I saw on your TikTok, you do manga. I love that. I love the manga and anime like genre. It's
Yeah.
just fantastic. So I've always wanted to be a what's it called, a voice recorder on a
Yes.
few of those animes would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I wish that too. That's another little dream of mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Good
cool.
luck to you on that. Let me know if you succeed.
If I do and they need someone that for certain parts, I'll be like, hey, I know someone.
Amazing. Great. Yes, think about me.
Exactly. Anything that you'd like to say to the audience?
First I'd like to say to you, thanks for inviting me, for coming to talk to me, and proposing this podcast. Yeah, it was fun, and you know, it's always a pleasure for me to talk about the things I love and how I came to be a metal singer, because coming from Morocco, it was not a given. So yeah, and to the audience, I want to say that people will be scared of you if you get into this. People will think you're a bit like crazy or maybe savage, or I don't know. But just, yeah, be yourself. And most important thing is, if you can, if you have the means, get a vocal coach if you want to learn all this, be it singing or saturated vocals, like clean or saturated, because mainly concerning saturated vocals, it's always better to have someone who knows what they're doing show you. I learned on my own, and I always learned that I always try to keep in mind that the principle is, if it hurts, you're doing it wrong. So if it hurts, just stop. It means you're either straining your vocal cords because the technique is wrong, or you've been doing it too long and your voice needs a rest. So if you want to do it by yourself because you can't pay a vocal coach, they're pretty expensive, or because you don't have the time for it, just abide by this one simple rule and you'll be fine. You'll learn at some point, I hope, but just don't strain your vocal cords, and be nice to your voice, because it's your main communicating tool. You can say so many cool things to people with your voice, so keep it safe.
Very true.